Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and I want to move motion number 207 in my name and that of my colleagues in the Regional Parliamentary Group. Minister, as you know, Ireland has a 220 million acre maritime resource off our coast, which has the potential to develop over 70,000 megawatts of offshore renewable energy. And what this motion is doing is calling on the government to think outside the box and implement an ambitious solution to clean up our energy and provide sustainable long-term employment opportunities, and to ensure that Ireland becomes a global renewable energy exporter. To do this, Ireland requires a radical overhaul of its industrial development policy if we are to achieve our climate goals, and also if we are to fully grasp the economic opportunities off our coast. This cannot be done in a piecemeal or haphazard basis, as has happened in the past, and we must have a very strategic focus on what is in Ireland's long-term interests and not just allow this to be developer-led. As I say, 70 gigawatts of clean energy off our coast. And that's enough not just to meet our own long-term needs here in Ireland, but also to produce enough electricity to meet the demands of both France and Austria as well. But we need to lead from the front with regard to this, and we believe that we need to establish an IDA of the seas to become a major global clean energy exporter, just like the Arab states have done with oil. And we don't want to wait for another mainstream moment, a situation where private developers decide how Ireland exploits its renewable energy resources and who that energy is supplied to, just like what happened with mainstream renewable power and Element Power's plans to erect 1,000 massive wind turbines right across the Midland counties to supply electricity into the United Kingdom. Families around this country who are struggling to pay their electricity bills are the ones who will end up funding this speculation, which is beginning, as you know, Minister, to start again, and which has been exploited in the past when grid connections were auctioned off. I fear that Ireland will end up giving away its renewable energy rights in order to hit our 2030 and our 2040 targets in an attempt to be the good boy at the top of the class, while electricity customers will continue to pay for the most expensive electricity in Europe. Instead, we have to exploit this resource, design a bidding process based on job creation along our west coast, ensure that our state secures a royalty for every single megawatt generated and supplied to both our national grid, and a proposed Atlantic interconnector which would connect and supply electricity directly into the European grid from our western coastal waters, and ensure that we have the cheapest electricity in Europe for our domestic customers. That way to do this is to establish an offshore renewable development authority, as I say, similar to the Industrial Development Authority, that would actually drive a fully coordinated national action plan. The authority would also have responsibility in areas ranging from research and development and supply chain development to the commercial deployment of renewable energy, ensuring that Ireland becomes the global leader in the export of sustainable clean energy. In the interim, and before the establishment of that, Minister, we're saying that the Western Development Commission should actually be directed to take over this coordination role in the short term. We're also proposing that we would actually develop, in conjunction with the European Commission, an Atlantic electricity interconnector. The reason for that is, Minister, with the substantial amount of renewable energy off our coast, we're only going to be able to consume about 10% of that electricity here within Ireland. So we have a surplus of 90% that can and should be exported directly into the European electricity network. And to do this, we believe that Ireland needs to immediately design a strategy in conjunction with the European Commission to fund and construct an Atlantic electricity interconnector that would land West Coast and South West Coast renewable electricity directly into the mainland European electricity grid. As you know, we have a huge potential supply of electricity to meet the demands of Austria and France. As you know, Minister, from engaging with your colleagues, there is a huge challenge with than Germany in terms of meeting its renewable energy targets, the single biggest country in Europe in terms of electricity demand, and we can help our European colleagues out in relation to that.